Championship Sunday in Livermore, California. Little League's Intermediate World Series for 13-year-olds boasts its world title game. West Seoul, South Korea, looking for its third world championship. Got here with a dramatic win over Mexico yesterday. And they'll take on the United States champions from the Keystone Little League in Tampa, Florida, unbeaten in this tournament, who edged Hawaii 5-4. Good evening, everybody, from Max Bear Park, Livermore, California. Jonathan Yardley and Wes Clemens, so glad to be watching this with you as Little League crowns a 13-year-old world champion, either Tampa, Florida, or West Seoul, South Korea. Now, West Seoul, South Korea, it seems like it's always South Korea. It is an uphill climb for any American team going up against him. Florida has gotten here with uphill climbs. Come from behind wins Sunday, Monday, and yesterday. And Wes, yesterday's game, they trailed Hawaii 4-1 going to the fourth inning. The middle of the order got it done for them.
Well, you're right, Jonathan. It didn't look good for Florida early in the game. As you mentioned, they came into the fourth inning chasing 3 runs. But after loading the bases and getting 4 consecutive hits, they ended up taking the lead. They scored 4 runs to take a 5-4 lead, and they would never relinquish that lead the rest of the game.
Leading the charge in the middle of the order, Cole Shearer, the catcher, and Lee Melamut at first base. Those two have been outstanding.
Well, they've been right in the middle of everything good offensively that has happened for this Florida team the entire tournament.
Now their opponent, it seems like it's always Korea. 5 of the last 7 international championships have been won by a team from Korea. But this West Seoul team is not exactly an overpowering juggernaut. They have great pitching through a 7-inning no-hitter in the opening game of the tournament. But Mexico was the dominant team at times, edged them on Wednesday in 12 innings. South Korea came from behind to win 2-1 in 9 innings yesterday and win the international title. And they are the favorites. They have more pitching available, but we have no idea how this is going to play out because the brackets have not gone head-to-head just yet.
Well, I'm excited. I mean, this is big-time game.
Ji-hoon Park leads off, crushes the second pitch, and it's snared by Nathan Trotton at third. What a great start for Keystone. No errors the last 2 games, the best defense in the tournament, and you saw why.
Now batting second baseman, number 7, Ha Seong-hyun.
Now, continuous batting order, you'll see it throughout Little League all summer. So 13 players in the Korean order. They shuffled this lineup a lot after they lost on Wednesday to Navojoa, Mexico. And so we see Sung-hyun Ha batting second against the righty Jackie Frazier.
Well, this South Korean club has been used to, at least they were yesterday, to some flame-throwing the Mexico club had as far as their pitchers. Mexico had a lot of hard throwers, but you can see right off the bat that Jackie Frazier is just the opposite. He's a finesse, what you would call a finesse pitcher, which means he's going to throw different speeds to every pitch that he has. He'll throw different change-up speeds of his fastball, his slider, and his curveball. So it's going to be an adjustment for this South Korean club.
He'd only thrown 2 pitches in Livermore, faced 1 batter earlier in the tournament. He almost got Ha there as he targeted the inside corner. They used up Presley Bromberg on Wednesday in the winner's bracket. They used up Gavin McCaffrey and Chance Good yesterday in the U.S. Championship game, and that caught the front foot of Ha, and he is aboard with 1 out.
Well, let's take a look. Did it? Upon further review, we know it hit chalk.
Well, nobody's lined up a review for this one just yet. There are reviews. Hit by pitch is something you can review. Florida not going to challenge here. Big lead at first for Ha, and Frazier checks over there. Ha's 4 for 4 stealing bases in the tournament, and he is really getting off first base here. Goes first pitch. It's a big breaking ball, and Paul Shearer won't even try.
Well, we talked about the velocity, the difference with Jackie Frazier. Now, anything he throws is going to give Korea an opportunity to steal a bag every pitch. So that's something to keep an eye on the rest of the game.
That's a problem because they will just flat out do it. Fantastic base running team. And Frazier trying to keep him close. Ji-Ho Shin, the outstanding catcher. He's not starting behind the plate today as Frazier spins to second again. And Shin, another one who has moved up in the order because of his production. Quickly, Frazier ahead 0-2. One for two yesterday.
This is something that this South Korean team will do if you're a pitcher and or you're up the middle defense.
Caught him as well. Jackie Frazier, you could see some frustration as Shin turned and led with the elbow there. But there's 2 on with 1 out.
We'll get a look at this. It's a fastball that gets way on the inside part, and it gets Shin right on the back of his elbow.
Now Jackie's dad, Jason Frazier, former major leaguer, is the pitching coach. And he's the one out talking to the Keystone Little League infield.
A little animated. You never want to see anybody hit, but if you look on the positive side, if you're Florida, now you have an opportunity to induce South Korea to hit into an any double play.
Well, defense has been the calling card for Keystone in this tournament. They kind of bludgeoned their way here through Florida and through the Southeast region, and they are a good hitting club. But at this level, the defense has been their difference maker. Frazier usually at second, so the second baseman is Gavin McCaffrey, and we already saw Nathan Troughton playing third, making the outstanding play to start off the game. Pitch is upstairs to Do Yun Yi, one of the pitching and hitting stars for West Seoul in this tournament, but he was held 0 for 3 yesterday by Navajoa, Mexico. Lollipop curve stays upstairs. Keystone Little League on the northwest side of Tampa. Kids from Odessa and Keystone and West Chase neighborhoods. To the left side, shortstop to second for 1, 6-4, 3, they turn the double play. Troutman started it to McCaffrey to Melamut. Korea wants a review, but right now, Keystone, Florida is out of the inning. Back here at the Intermediate World Series Championship game. Top of the first inning, West Seoul, South Korea challenging the back end of a double play that appears to have gotten Keystone Little League of Florida out of the inning. The call on the field is out, and it would end the frame and get Florida through the top 4 Korean hitters. This is a good look here. Oh, that is close with Yi diving for the bag.
But it needs to be a discernible. I mean, is this an obvious overrule? I don't know. You got ball, the minute ball, hands off the bag, ball. So
Wow.
I would say that it's going to be very tough for them to overturn because it's not obvious. And for me, and I believe for all the review crews, something needs to be, you got to be 100% sure.
Calls are made in Williamsport, relayed to the umpires here. John Budnick, Wayne Bonington, Brian Diamond, and Mark Scott, the umpires this evening. John Budnick confirms the out call, and the inning is over. So now West Seoul will take the field, and Keystone will come to bat for the first time. So we told you, defensively cutting down run after Mexican run at the plate.
Well, they're fundamentally sound, as good as anybody in the country for 13-year-olds. You see a pass ball, wasn't actually a pass ball, it was a wild pitch, but a perfect throw from the catcher to Park to tag the would-be tying run for Mexico. And now you're going to see it done again, but via a different way. Again, the potential tying run for Mexico thrown out at the plate, but this was the big one. In extra innings, Mexico had loaded the bases with one out, and they get the comebacker, the old 1-2-3 backbreaker for Mexico, double play. And then South Korea went on, obviously, to advance to this game.
So they huddle up as the right-hander Min Sok Bang goes through his warm-ups. Here's the lineup he will face from Florida. Again, they go pretty deep. They'll get production from most of the order, but Shearer really provides the power in that cleanup spot, and Melamut, their most consistent hitter, in the 5-hole. And since, of course, oh, well, it is Kim coming out. I don't know what took him so long then, since he was the on-deck hitter, I guess, is what the catcher Kim needed to get into his gear for. As we're ready to go for the bottom of the first. Now, Min Sok Bang started yesterday for West Seoul, South Korea. He served as an opener of sorts against Mexico. Pitched into the second inning, gave up 3 hits, including a home run that put him down 1-0. No strikeouts, no walks. Because he only threw 20 pitches, he is available today. Now they're missing their top 2 arms, Park and Yi, and one other starter, Cho, who have all been very impressive in the tournament. So they are going to need pitching depth. To be honest, we just expect that they have it at this point.
Well, anybody that's available to pitch is on board tonight. That's all it is. This is the biggest game of the year for both of these clubs. So if anybody's eligible to pitch, they could pitch tonight.
Josh Troutman from Farnell Middle School in Tampa leads off for Keystone.
How about the weather? It's beautiful weather. Now, it was a little bit warm up here earlier in the day, but now it's kind of cooled off. It's beautiful.
You can see the breeze billowing as Bong catches the corner with a strike. Well, now you guys show the flags when they're not billowing at all. Thank you very much, crew. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not making it up.
Well, it's actually about 10:18 in the morning on Monday morning in Seoul, Korea. So everybody is up and watching.
Wow. We are going late strike calls, and strike 3 to start off the ball game. I completely missed the first pitch being a strike because the call was so late.
Now batting the pitcher, number 1, Jackie Frazier.
Well, right on the outside part. Troutman didn't like it, but you move on.
And it's been consistent throughout the tournament that the strike zone has been wide, and the teams have adjusted to it. Jackie Frazier stands in. First pitch swinging, liner to right. It gets past Park, who was thinking about throwing him out with the great arm, but well backed up by the center fielder, Yi-Jun Kim, to hold Frazier to first.
Well, you're right, Jonathan, and that's exactly what Park was trying to do. He has a cannon for an arm in right field, but he's a little bit frustrated because he thinks, hey, I would have thrown the runner out at first, but you see it right here. Frazier with the base hit. Park thinking this is going to be out too. But to your point, Kim and this South Korean defense fundamentally sound. Great backup.
So the first hit of the game is Jackie Frazier's, and it brings up Chance Good. 1 for 3 yesterday, and the 2 times he was put out, he stung the ball to center.
But back to the strike zone, Jonathan, I actually like a bigger strike zone for one reason. It will induce the hitters to swing the bat. And for me, the more times that 13-year-olds swing the bat, the better their hand-eye coordination is going to be.
Bong ahead 0-2 here. West Seoul 5-0 to win the Korean Championship, 4-0 to win the Asia Pacific title, and 4-1 here in Livermore. Frazier going, and the throw not handled at second. Jackie Frazier in there, and in scoring position.
Well, it's a fastball on the outside part. Kim bounces it into Lee at shortstop. Frazier too much speed, and just like that, Florida, it's a potential go-ahead run at second base with 1 out.
You could see Lee grimacing that he wasn't able to pick that. This is, by most accounts, the less strong defensive catcher for Korea. They've used 2. And Shin, who we saw at the middle of all of those defensive plays yesterday, is not catching. This is Min-Hoo Kim behind the plate. We saw Shin warming up to pitch before the game, and you can't pitch if you spend so many innings behind the plate. So we're thinking that's one reason why they've gone with Kim behind the plate.
Well, look at that adjustment by Good right there. We've seen that Bong is throwing a lot of fastballs in the outside part, and some of them 2 or 3 inches on the outside part, but Good recognizes that. He went out to try to get that last pitch, which was on the outside part.
Waited on the breaking ball and stroked it into the gap in right center field. All the way to the wall. Frazier around to score. Keystone takes the league in the World Championship game. All the way to third goes Chance Good with a triple.
Now batting for the U.S., the catcher, number 21, Cole Shearer.
This is just great hitting by Good. We talked about how he went out to try to go get the fastball in the previous pitch. He did the same thing here. One exception, it's a hanging breaking ball on the outside part. Hits it the other way. Knocks in Florida's first run and ends up on third base with a triple.
Saying, but for the high fence, he could have come home because that throw is airmail.
You are correct. It's just outstanding hitting by Good there. And we know Florida has a lot of watch parties going on right now, and there's some excitement going on in those places right now.
They're going nuts in Tampa St. Pete. 1-0 lead. Cole Shearer up, and a second run 70 feet away against a drawn-in infield. Coaches said he's a little crazy, but he loves playing, and we love him. The emotional leader of this team from behind the plate, and he also provides the power. 4 homers in 5 games in the Southeast Regional, and we're talking big-time fly balls.
Well, Florida with a big opportunity early in the game to put another run on the board and take a 2-0 lead against a tremendous South Korean team. Very rarely are going to get an opportunity against such a powerful team that this South Korean team is to score runs early in the game. But when you get these opportunities, you need to take advantage of them.
Yeah, you would think we have to get this runner in from third. Let's manufacture it however we can, but not with Shearer and Melamut coming to the plate. These are guys you want to hit.
Yeah, there's this right here is an action pitch. I mean, just buckle up. You know a fastball's coming to Shearer.
Swing and a miss. Couldn't handle the fastball upstairs. Second strikeout for Bong.
And that's exactly right. You mentioned it, Jonathan, upstairs and exactly where it's at. And you see where it's at. It's a little bit, it's about armpit high. And as a hitter, unless you're trying to cover the top of the zone, meaning keeping your eyes aware, I have to be able to reach the ball up, you're not going to hit that pitch.
Lee Melamut 3 for 3 yesterday, 6 for 9 in the tournament. Yesterday he was using the 5-6 hole, but Korea with the velocity of Bong not shading him that way. This is to straightaway center. Lee Jun Kim lines it up in the shade and makes the grab. Keystone, Florida takes the lead on Chance Good's triple. They can't push across the second, but after one inning in the World Championship game, Florida 1, South Korea 0.
The most advanced clear aligner system.
Headed to the second inning, Keystone, Florida 1, West Seoul, South Korea 0. And we got modern baseball. We got openers on both sides as Jackie Frazier gives way to Nathan Trodden to pitch against 5, 6, and 7 in the West Seoul order in the second appearance of the World Series for Trodden. He pitched an inning and a third in the late in the ball game earlier in the week. Pitchers can re-enter once, so that option is out there, but they're going to use a lot of different arms and give Korea different looks today. And right away, Trodden handles a comebacker, 1 out. So Frazier to second, Gavin McCaffrey to third. But Wes, how do you like the strategy of throwing probably as many different arms as possible against West Seoul?
Well, I'm not going to argue with either of these head coaches. They have done everything they needed to do, made the right decisions to get to this game on both sides. Daniel McCaffrey has pushed all the right buttons.
This is Ji-Woo Yu. He was batting 11th out of 13 at the beginning of the tournament, and he's worked his way up to 6th with clutch hit after clutch hit. And he drove in the tying run in the second inning yesterday. Went 1-1 all the way to the 9th. That catch him on the wrist? It did. Florida has pitched inside throughout the tournament and seen a number of hit batters against him.
It's the third hit batter of the game, and we're just doing an inning and a third.
Right, and it's not the first time. So with 1 out, Song Myeon-an, the hero of yesterday's win with the walk-off single in the 9th, comes to the plate. They've now hit 10 batters in the tournament, Florida pitchers. this is your first time checking it out, this is the 13-year-old age level. Slightly bigger field than the 12-year-old Little Leaguers who go to Williamsport. As you see, runners can take leads and steal when the pitcher goes to the plate. 7-inning games instead of 6. And the base path's a little bigger, as we told you, 70 feet instead of 60 feet. Twelve teams at this World Series, 6 from the U.S., 6 on the international side. And the 2 left standing, Keystone, Florida, and West Seoul, Korea. Last year, West Seoul got to this game once again, and no crossover players, but they were knocked off 5-2 by the great pitching of last year's host, Danville, California.
I think it's amazing that where both of these clubs have come from. Obviously, Seoul, Korea is a long, long ways away, but what they had to do in order to get here, Jonathan, it's amazing. How many games they had to win.
Korean Championship was in May. Florida District Play started in mid-June. As you see, some of the teams that made it here. Some familiar names to Little League fans like Toms River East and Taylor North and Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. And some newcomers, Ascension Parish from Louisiana. They have their 12-year-old team playing in regionals right now. Prague from the Czech Republic, that was a big surprise. Nice backhand by Shearer. Runner is caught down there. Throw is in time. What was you doing? Caught between first and second and thrown out.
Well, we'll get a look
I don't know how else to say it.
Screen. Look at your top of your screen. You stuck right in the middle. He's about a third of the way and says, well, I might be out, so I'm going to try to get to second base. And Shearer, a great throw to Troutman at shortstop. We'll see the tag.
Quickly, the play made at first by Melamut, and the inning is over. You could say West Seoul was stuck in the middle with you. Florida 1, South Korea nothing as we head to the bottom of the second. Keystone Little League of Tampa, Florida leads West Seoul, South Korea 1-0 in the World Championship game. A reminder, you can find Little League on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. The official handles at Little League. Don't forget to use the hashtag LLWS. Drop your favorite song lyric. Tell us what you think of the ball game. Fantastic tournament. And eager to see where this goes as Keystone, Florida is out to a 1-0 lead here. Bottom of the second. Presley Bromberg takes a strike. Bromberg, the #1 pitcher for Florida. Perfect game to win the Southeast Regional title. Over 5 innings against the Barrier Islands from South Carolina, who are the only team to have beaten Keystone all year. So shout out the Barrier Islands down in the Charleston area. And Bromberg with a key hit yesterday as well during that rally. So the average is unsightly, but he's getting runs home somehow, some way. And Bromberg almost went the distance on Wednesday in the winner's bracket game against Pearl City, Hawaii, and used up all 95 pitches available to him. You need 4 days of rest when you throw that many, and that's not enough. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He can pitch tomorrow, but there's no games tomorrow.
Good slider there from Bong.
They tried really hard to keep him eligible to pitch today and just couldn't do it. Able to lay off the breaking ball that time.
Now, we've seen in this tournament just how important leadoff runners getting on have been to their teams. A majority of them have scored. And you could actually go up all the way through every level of baseball, including the major leagues.
A lot of respect for Bromberg, throwing him breaking ball after breaking ball, and it's a leadoff walk.
Next up for the U.S., the third baseman, number 6, Gavin McCaffrey.
I mean, West Seoul asking for a bit of trouble here. We'll see what Florida does with it. Boy, I thought the biggest crowd of the weekend would be for the U.S. championship last night, but they are
they're
3, 4, 5 deep out there.
They sure are. I don't know what the stop. Well, this is why.
We said there's no game tomorrow, but they may operate on a 20-pitch count anyway.
Well, it looks like they're
see a couple of the other American teams over on the Florida side. And we will get Bowman Jung to replace Bong here in the second inning. So we have seen starting pitchers go deep much of the tournament for many teams, but most of those starting pitchers have been used by both of these teams, and so the championship game will be a little bit piecemeal.
On the U.S. side of the bracket.
Well, what's interesting about this team, I mean, when you have the best of the best from a certain area, as you take a look at Young's numbers, at some point in time in all of these kids' careers, the majority, I would guess, have been pitchers.
Our run differential was 17.
Without question, every team during the regular season, those pitchers end up being usually on the all-star team at another spot. So you'll see teams with 7, 8, 9 guys who can get up there, know the mechanics, and get the ball over the plate. But that's not quite the same as being effective in the world title game.
Right, this is not a team that if their head coach said who can pitch, that not everybody wouldn't raise their hand, because they all would. Big spot in the game for South Korea, albeit just the second inning. They're already chasing 1 run. And Young comes in with a runner at first and no outs. Now, let's see what Florida elects to do with McCaffrey. Are they going to bunt Bromberg over to second base? Get him in scoring position?
Do you take a strike and then bunt? Because
no.
Jung has walked 3 in 3 innings.
Well, here's the thing. If you're going to bunt, then you bunt the first strike you see.
Yeah.
If you take a strike, now you're 0-1 bunting. Not that you can't get it down on an 0-1 count, but if
you're only giving yourself one real chance without the risk of strikeout.
Well, again, keeping the bunt on with 2 strikes is not a problem for me. I mean, all the way up into the big leagues. But if their intention is to bunt, you bunt the first strike.
Gavin McCaffrey, the manager's son, was absolutely sensational on the mound last night. 9 strikeouts in 4 innings. Didn't give up a run to lead them to the victory over Pearl City, Hawaii, 5-4. And Shin will catch. They will make a defensive change at the same time, and that's interesting. Maybe they saw how aggressive Keystone was in the bottom of the first.
Well, did not show bunt.
Garners the strike call there to make it 1-1.
This is a good arm.
They've caught a few of them.
When you can hear the ball caught, that's a good arm.
Keystone scored in the first on Chance Good's triple. They have a leadoff runner on in the second. Upstairs, good eye by McCaffrey to run it full. Wears the same undershirt every game, so pretty smelly by this time of the weekend.
No, they're washing. You know, mom or dad's washing.
Upstairs, 2 on, nobody out for Keystone here in the second.
Real good at bat by McCaffrey. And now you end up in that same situation that we talked about. First and second, no outs. Is South Korea expecting Trodden to bunt here and turn it over to Greenmore and Hicks?
I don't know.
Aaron Judge
Trodden's one of your hitters.
Player. Yeah, I was going to say Aaron Judge, one of his favorite players. He don't want to bunt.
You don't think Judge could get one down?
No, I actually think he could do most anything, quite frankly.
Yeah. He's not from too far away, of course. A couple hours south as that fastball whistles high. 1-0 to Trodden.
I think Giant fans, San Francisco Giants fans, were expecting that he might sign with them last year.
He considered it.
I wonder if he wishes he would have now, based on how the Yankees are doing.
Trodden, the only left-handed hitter in the Keystone lineup. And they've taken everything from Jung so far, trying to make sure he's really found the zone. And 3 for 10 in the tournament for Trodden.
Well, these are
played just about every position.
Big opportunities for Florida in the first inning and now again in the second.
Sharply hit, diving play at third. They'll throw, no throw made as Bromberg holds it third. Everybody's safe and the bases are loaded.
Wow, this is some kind of play by Do Yoon Yi, the third baseman for South Korea, just to keep it in the infield. This is a rocket opposite. And look at this play.
But Trodden is quick. He's coming out of the left-handed batter's box, and Yi decided he didn't have a play. So bases loaded, nobody out for Colin Greenmore.
Now I would say safety squeeze is in play here.
Thinking the same way, the Florida managerial staff.
And this is something that is at times a problem for major league players. If you can see the way that the barrel of Greenmore's bat was, it was below the ball. Anytime the barrel of the bat is not above the ball's not going to go on the ground.
Colin Greenmore moved from Massachusetts to Tampa just last year. Obviously found a community with this Little League, and he had the game-winning sacrifice fly against Bollinger Canyon a week ago in their first game of the tournament in extra innings. Heck of a breaking ball, and the first big one we've seen from Jung.
Well, it basically is the first one. It's the first one that's looked like that. Quickly ahead of 1 and 2.
Waited on the breaking ball, hit it to third. They're coming home, and the throw is way offline. Bromberg hasn't touched the plate yet. The other runner comes home. He's out at the plate. McCaffrey didn't slide, and it might have cost them. Oh, what a crazy sequence that was. McCaffrey had to dodge his own runner, Bromberg. And then Shin, we've been singing his praises, got back to the plate to make the tag.
Well, we talked a lot about how fundamentally sound South Korea's defense was. This first time we've seen this the whole tournament. Errant throw from Yi at third. But as you mentioned, Jonathan, McCaffrey comes in, doesn't even try to slide here for some reason, and doesn't get to the plate. Wow.
What a wild sequence. Florida still has its second run. That was critical. They still have runners on base, but there is one out in the inning now. Trevor Hicks, the batter, he's thinking bunt and takes a pitch upstairs. Trevor Hicks had one of the great answers on the questionnaires the kids fill out. They asked, why do you play Little League? And he goes, that's like asking me why I breathe, because I need to.
Wow.
Spin move to second. And Nathan Trotton is back in. Runner goes, bunt and steal, and out at third. Took a risk there.
Well, we'll get a look at it here. Trotton's at second base. He's trying to steal third. A great throw from Shin. But on the backside, Graymore, watch Graymore at the top of your screen. He doesn't go to second. So he should be at second base right now, but he goes back. And as a base runner at all levels, you always want to pay attention to your runner in front of you.
So at this point, a 2-0 lead for Keystone, Florida through 2 innings. That's fantastic, right? You weren't sure that was going to happen if you're in the third base dugout. And yet there's runs left on the board, Wes. These missed opportunities could come back to haunt them.
There's no questions on it, Jonathan. Keep in mind, bases loaded, no outs is what Keystone had here. And had McCaffrey slid, it would have been 3-0 and 1 out.
Those are the margins that can decide these games. We told you how close the Korea-Mexico games were. We told you Keystone, Florida has 2 walk-off wins, another by 1 run and another by 2 runs. The U.S. bracket was incredibly close. And we had no run rule games on the U.S. side.
And Graymore took off on that pitch.
3-2, 2 outs. He'll be doing it again. Low ball 4, another. Check that. Check that. Called strike 3 to the dismay of the Florida hitters. But they add a run, 2 innings in the books. Keystone, Florida 2. West Seoul, South Korea, nothing.
Bromberg is in. Right. Thank you.
Presley Bromberg came around to touch home plate at the second time of asking to make it 2-0 for the Keystone Little League from Tampa, Florida. Some opportunities missed already despite this 2-0 lead. And Nathan Trodden returns to the mound for his second inning of work. Again, 13 players in the batting order, so he's going 8, 9, 10 here. And you really want to be efficient, if at all possible, against the bottom part of the order to minimize how many times you have to face the top. Not that the bottom of the order can't hurt you, though. Both these teams can and have produced runs in the lower portion.
You very rarely in a 7-inning game are going to get a chance to have the heart of your lineup go through the lineup 3 times. So to your point, when you get opportunities and the meat of your lineups coming up, you got to take advantage of them.
You can see Shearer trying to frame everything given the strike zone he's seen so far. And he was gave a little look to the dugout after not getting the pitch away.
We've talked about all the success that leadoff runners getting on base have in scoring. There's another opportunity on a 3-1 count.
Leadoff walk.
Now batting the shortstop, number
Recipe
18,
for
Lee
trouble.
Min-jun.
So Min-jun Lee, the Korean shortstop, the batter. Now, family names are often said first in Korea, so he would be Lee Min-jun, and you just heard the public address announcer, Rick Flavler, announce him that way. But the players on their questionnaires listed their names in the westernized fashion that many players use when they come play Major League Baseball, and so we've used the same naming custom for our games. As Trodden chases Bong back to first.
Well, I had some trouble when I was over there last year in the KBO in the dugout because I actually had to write out the lineups.
In which characters?
Well, it was in English. I will tell you, I learned one word, actually 2, in Korean. It's the toughest language in the world, in my opinion, to learn.
Are you going to tell us what it was? You're going to leave us in suspense?
Kamsahamnida, which is thank you, and Joa, which is good, that's what I use to tell players on the field when they did something good.
They thought you were the most positive coach they'd ever had.
Well, what's unfortunate is nobody's told me Joa on anything that I did over there. So that was unfortunate.
And so
Great
you're
country.
stuck with us.
Love being over there. The people are so nice.
Runner goes on 2-0. Shearer's throw is a little late. Bong with the stolen base. Trodden, though, more importantly, has had trouble finding the zone here in the third. "15 steals in the tournament for Korea as a team. They are 2 for 3 today. Hit that one the opposite way. Long run for Bromberg. Great athlete. Just couldn't get there in the corner. We saw him make a catch on the run the other day. Wasn't able to get to that.
This is a real good effort by Bromberg. Again, he's going full speed here. To your point, yesterday we saw him run down a ball full speed. Almost identical. This one a little bit deeper.
That one's line to right. Bromberg going to cut it off. Runner is held at third. They know the reputation out there, and the throw comes in. But runners at the corners, nobody out here in the third.
Well, it's a great job by Lee. It's a fastball on the outside part. Doesn't miss it and sets up Korea here. First and third, no outs. There you see that strong arm by Bromberg. Good pick by Shear.
Only the second hit of the tournament for Lee. And we're going to get our third Florida pitcher of the day here in the third inning. It'll be the shortstop Troutman coming in to pitch.
Over the course of the evening, ladies and gentlemen,
we may see everybody who's eligible to pitch except for Shearer, the catcher, today.
And it's always good for our scorecards, isn't it?
First off, in the sound booth up here,
I'm ready for, I think, 7 pitchers, but I don't really know how to handle when guys come back in. I'm just not prepared for that.
I have a hard time with 1.
Also up here, I've got a couple of terrific sound engineers.
Well, the continuous batting order, if you're a scorekeeper, the continuous batting order really challenges you. Folks calling games in Williamsport for ESPN and ABC this year, and calling the softball tournament in Greenville, and all the other ones having to figure that out.
Al Capone, Throw Me a Curve. Favorite book?
Going to request that from the library ASAP. Troutman pitched in 2 different stints against Bollinger Canyon last Sunday.
McCaffrey will go back to shortstop.
Our security folks is here, Mr. Joe.
And Trodden will go back to third.
Speaking of Matt Payne, this is Matt and Christina Payne's 18th wedding anniversary today. Their sons are Jacob and Ryan, and the entire family.
Yeah, if you can keep track of the defense with all the pitching changes too, hats off. That's part of the fun. That's why we love it. Runners at the corners, nobody out. Junhwa Kim, the Korean first baseman today, at least to start the game, stands in. Pretty good pick to first base, driving Lee back. You know he's antsy to get to second.
We've talked a lot about this. When your team is behind in the game and there are no outs and you first and third, the last thing you need to do if you're running at first is get picked off.
I think he's going first pitch here.
Well, he could. I mean,
that's the way this team plays. They don't usually waste any time with their aggression. He is going bunt and run, and it's fouled off. And I'm wondering if Kim missed a sign, because the way he looked down to third was, look, he got his hand in the cookie jar.
Well, that's an interesting call and an interesting play, because to your point, Lee can flat out fly at first. So ideally, you give him a chance to steal the bag and set up second and third with no outs.
Yeah, I thought it would be steal first pitch, bunt second as that pickoff throw gets away, and it allows a run to score. First error by Florida since Monday, and it cost them a run, maybe, in the World Championship game. Hit and run fouled off as we go back to the pickoff that got away.
Take a look at the pickoff here. What went wrong? Just looks like a throw that was right over the bag that unfortunately Malamet just couldn't handle. And South Korea on the board.
Again, very uncharacteristic for this Keystone Little League team. 3 errors in 4 games for them. And remember, They went to extra innings in one of those, so a couple extra innings out there.
All right. Yesterday I was on predictions 0 for 35. I'm going to predict right now that Lee attempts to steal second on this next pitch.
That's a little blooper. Drops fair. Chased down by Trottin. They cover third late, and all the way to second goes Kim. And West Seoul is on the move here in the third.
Well, it wasn't hit hard. It was perfectly placed, and it's right off the end of the bat. It's a breaking pitch, and it's right over the head of Trottin at third, just fair. And then you'll see Kim get into your picture. Well, Kim's going to read this. He's being told, go to second, and this is exactly what South Korea does. It's part of their arsenal. Solid base running. But it's a good read by Lee, the runner at first, to go on his own all the way over to third, which enables Kim to get to second.
So is that the song for Bo Min-jung from the Korean dugout?
Now it could
blocked by Shearer.
For viewers that have not been over to South Korea and watched any KBO games, you can look them up on YouTube, but there is a cheer for every single player on every team in the KBO. In the stands, the fans, upwards of sometimes 30, 40,000, will sing the particular song. It is amazing, the support that the fans.
And they call the balk. Troutman called for a balk, and the game is tied. Florida wants to know what happened.
Calling the field as a balk.
And Troutman has something to say about it, which doesn't usually go over so well. And the score is 2-2, and after a great first 2 innings that left some chances untaken, West Seoul has gotten back at Keystone in the third, and Troutman's still talking about it.
He still doesn't know what he did wrong.
So that should be no pitch.
Let's see what he did. Stepped on the rubber. He's okay. He didn't do anything wrong for me.
What in the world?
He was set, and a balk needs to be
called. Strike 3 on the inside corner.
We're going to show you this again, and a balk, a pitcher has to come to a discernible set, meaning when his hand's set, they need to pause, and then he goes to the dish, to home plate. And it looks like Troutman does all of that correctly here.
Infield still back for Florida. They'll give up a run, and Troutman starts Yun-Ho Cho with a strike. Sung Kim, the Korean manager, running through the signs at third for Cho. Gangnam Style still a thing. Most fun thing about Little League is where his pitches go, when his pitches go where he wants them to.
Well,
that was my favorite thing too. Didn't happen often. Way out in front of the breaking ball. Troutman working very quickly. It's chopped up the middle. It'll put Korea in front. McCaffrey's throw to first is in time, and there are 2 away. So West Seoul does take the lead, but Florida trying to minimize the damage here in this third.
Well, it's a good job by Joe making contact with the runner at third in less than 2 outs. But I'm a little bit perplexed at how many of these youngsters are going head first into first base.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think we've seen a single tag play at first base, which is usually the only time it's useful to go in head first. That's driven by the number 9 hitter Kim, and he can run. Bromberg will chase it in the corner. Kim is headed for third. And he's in there standing up with a 2-out triple. West Seoul's order relentless in this one.
well, Jonathan, you talked about it. It doesn't matter who you are in either of these teams' lineup. No matter if you're the last hitter in the lineup like Kim is, they all have been successful at the game of baseball. And here's your example. The base running, watch him. He is thinking 3 right now. And he's off to the races, picks up his third base coach. Textbook.
So now it's Ji-Hoon Park, one of the best hitters in the tournament, to face Troutman. Retired on a line out in the first, and he did swing at the breaking ball 0-2. He was asking for time, he didn't get it, and he lines a single to center to make it 4-2. Ji-Hoon Park delivers once again.
How about second baseman number 7, Ha Seong-hyun.
Well, watch this. Park is calling for time. He doesn't get it, and he says, well, I don't need it really. And he drives in the 4th run for South Korea. Beautiful hit right up the middle.
See if they run Park here with Sung-Hyun Ha at the plate. Certainly Keystone is worried about it.
Well, ordinarily you'd say, well, why would you run right now with Ha coming up? Because you're at the top of the lineup for South Korea. Worst thing that happens, the worst thing that could have happened is that Shear, you see him frustrated, throws Park out, but nobody has thrown Park out in this tournament.
Keystone, Florida jumped out to a 2-0 lead. A run in the first and a run in the second, but left runners on base in each inning. Made a couple outs on the base paths, including one at home. So it was just 2-0. And West Seoul, South Korea, 8 through 13 in their order. 4 of the 6 reached and scored in this frame. In the gap, Chance Good coming on and makes the catch to end the inning. Josh Troutman's going to remember the balk most of all, but West Seoul, South Korea is going to remember a 4-run frame that put him in front in the world title game. Happened before.
Terry Norman. Thanks, Terry.
We head to the bottom of the third, 13-year-old World Championship game at Little League's Intermediate Baseball World Series in Livermore, California. Keystone Little League of Tampa, Florida trailing West Seoul, South Korea 4-2. As we go to the bottom of the third, Jonathan Yardley, Wes Clements with you. Keystone, Florida has scored in each inning so far. And Bo Min Jung is in his second inning of work, as both teams try to piece together their pitching, having used up a whole lot of arms just getting here. Jordan Martirana leads off the Florida third.
Now, Jung's job for South Korea right now is to put up a 0. Don't allow Florida to score after your team puts up 3 runs for you.
Now, Martirana is the very proud co-founder of Keystone Little League's 13-year-old All-Star Team's Wiffle Ball League. And Wes, this is no joke. They had a draft. They have it all set up on one of the apps with official teams and everything. I mean, this is serious business.
Well, we see strike 2 there, but wiffle ball, I mean, everybody's played that. I mean, how about how you can make those balls move any way you want them?
Today I was trying to make them move and hit my 4-year-old's bat. That was interesting. That's lined to right, in for a hit. Jordan Martirana, first hit of the World Series, and it comes here in the World Championship game. How about that? Tim Trotten, the first base coach, is pumped up for him.
Well, good for him. I mean, it's too bad that one of these clubs have to lose, because you want both of these teams to have success. They have, obviously. It's a great pitch. It's a better job of hitting by Martirana.
So Trey Nolan, the hitter. He is bunting, gets it down in front of the plate. Jung to first, and the sacrifice successful, 1-4.
And you can understand the strategy by Keystone Little League right now. They just gave up 3 runs, and the coaching staff is just trying to get one of those runs back right now. Even though they're chasing 2 runs, if they get 1 run in this inning, job well done.
Yeah, there's so much time left.
How about Adam Sandler, favorite actor?
He's still popular with this group, various groups at the tournament. I think the Rock is still the runaway favorite. So Troutman, the Keystone leadoff hitter, bats with Martirana in scoring position.
신경 쓰지 말고 발 보고 세게 던져. 힘 조절. 몸이 잘하고 있어.
Plays baseball right-handed, Josh Troutman, but he writes left-handed. Currently the pitcher, now down in the count 0-2.
잘하고 있어. 지금 좋았어. 그 높이.
See the red batting gloves, the red helmet. Red is the normal color for Keystone Little League, wearing gold and black as the Southeast Regional champions here. This team was at regionals last year as 12-year-olds, and when we talked to Gavin McCaffrey and Josh Troutman yesterday, they said, hey, we were at regionals last year. This doesn't feel beyond us.
job by Troutman battling with 2 strikes here.
입으면 안 돼.
Staying alive.
입으면 빨라도 못 쳐.
Of course, Little League Baseball regionals going on across the ESPN family of networks. Softball World Series at the 12-year-old age group started today. Curacao took the Senior League World Series title as we go back to the last pitch.
It's on the outside part, about a foot.
Fouls off another one with 2 strikes.
Well, Adam Sandler being his favorite actor, it would have to be Happy Gilmore, right? The favorite movie, wouldn't you think?
I really don't know. His favorite movie is Major League, so it's not from that. But I don't know which Adam Sandler movie he's into. What was the basketball one he did? That one did well. I don't know if that's 13-year-old territory, though. Got a piece of that one to the left side. Out the decision at first, and over to third on the throw goes Martirana.
Good job by Yee at third base here. He knows that Troutman can fly, and Yee charges his ball, knows he's got to get there in a hurry, and the quick release gets him by just a half step.
Remember, he had the errant throw coming home earlier. Did not show any hesitation there in unleashing another one.
Jackie Frazier, the catalyst, we are told by the coaching staff of this club.
And we've seen it.
Baseball mind.
Seen him score from third base when the throw got away back to the mound and just bobbled a few feet away from the pitcher. Started the game on the mound. There's his dad coaching third. It's the reason Jackie's a Royals fan, we have to imagine. This time, swing and a miss. Chung with the strikeout to strand Martirana at third. First time Florida's been kept off the board. West Seoul tries to add to its lead next. Korea 4, Florida 2 in the 13-year-old world title game. If you want your child to experience the teamwork and fun of Little League Baseball or softball, visit playlittleleague.org and enter your address to find a Little League community program near you. Gavin McCaffrey moves over to third. Nathan Trodden moves over to first. Josh Troutman goes back to short, and Lee Melamut takes over on the mound. He had been the first baseman, the 4th Keystone Florida pitcher of the game here in the 4th. Pitched 2 innings on Monday against New Jersey, threw 2 pitches on Wednesday against Hawaii. And his second pitch here is hit deep, and I don't think it's playable. Ji-Ho Shin continues his fantastic tournament with a long ball. 5-2 West Seoul, Korea.
Well, this is a hanging, breaking ball. And Shin does not miss this at all. We've talked about his prowess on the base path, how solid a base runner, but he pounds this ball to left center.
The ball has not been flying out all that often this week, but that one was scorched.
The person that caught the home run ball, would you please return it to the souvenir trailer and claim a special gift? Thank you.
They always try to get the home run balls here, present them to the players' parents during the game and to the players after the game. Do-Hyun Yi, the hitter. He drives that one deep. Bromberg going back, it's up against the wall. Yi will be held at second.
Well, it's another ball up in the zone.
Number 14, Kim Min-woo.
And Do-Hyun Yi doesn't miss this. I believe it hits the base of the wall or bounces up against it.
First pitch breaking ball strike to Min-woo Kim. Began the game behind the plate. Now he's just hitting in the batting order. Everybody does. He's actually the captain from the same league, Osan City, as the manager, Woo-Sung Kim. But for me, Ji-ho Shin, as great as Park and Yi have been, Ji-ho Shin has kind of been that catalyst for South Korea, both defensively behind the plate and with his bat. Florida scored in the first and the second. West Seoul, South Korea had 4 in the third, and they are on the move here in the fourth. Big pitch from Lee Melamut to sit Min-woo Kim down on strikes, 1 away.
We'll get a look at this pitch. It's a slider on the outside part. It's a big pitch for Melamut at a big time in the game.
So here's Ji-woo-yu. He has had some of the highest exit velocities we've seen, and I say that anecdotally, not statistically speaking, but when he gets clear contact, it goes. So you don't have timeout just because you have your hand up, but Yu finally turns his attention to Melamut. That is scorched to deep right field. Ji-woo-yu up against the fence. Bromberg throws a strike to second base. The ball gets away, and it's a back-to-back doubles, 6-2 South Korea.
Well, this is a breaking ball down in the happy zone for you. Watch him. He thinks it's out. Watch him now. He's saying, this ball's out. It's out. No, it's not. I got to hurry up. I got to hurry. Let me get there. I'm in.
Never in doubt. Sung Myung-an, the left fielder, stands in. They played Mexico in these 2 dramatic extra inning games that went so long they had the international tiebreaker rule where you start the inning with a runner on second. Korea got this fantastic 1-2-3 double play to keep Mexico from scoring. And then in the bottom of the 9th, runner heads for third. Throw down is not in time. Stolen base for Ji-woo-yu. And so yesterday, the runner in the 9th went to third on a wild pitch right away with On at the plate. And then he drove the ball to deep center. Might have been a fly out at normal depth, but it was a game-winning single for Korea to beat Mexico yesterday, 2-1.
하니까. 어쩔 수 없어. 그게 봐야 돼.
Yeah, infield in. Can ill afford to allow South Korea to score any more runs if you're Florida.
들어가 또 온다. 야, 비슷하면 쳐.
Pitch sailed a bit, count runs full.
지우, 원아웃이야. 이거지. 야, 높은 걸 아니면 비슷하면 다 쳐야 돼. 이거 알았어? 이겨내야 돼. 이거가 이겨내야 된다고. 네, 가자.
Pitch up high, and it's a walk. 5 hitters to the plate here in the 4th, just 1 retired. As West Seoul tries to break this open.
Folks, we are going around selling tickets for our 50-50 raffle tonight. Winner will be announced in the 6th inning. Prices are as follows. 1 ticket for $2.
Strong words at the mound. Jason Frazier, the assistant coach. You can see Cole Shearer
tickets and $20 will get you 15 tickets.
With a lot to say, the catcher on the left as well.
Collected will go towards the event, and your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
And we knew, Wes, we knew Florida's pitching was not set up for anybody really to go deep in this game. And it was going to take piecing it together.
You're right, Jonathan, which is why we made so much emphasis early in the game when Florida had the opportunities, bases loaded, no outs. And in the first inning, they had an opportunity to expand their lead. And in the second inning, they had the bases loaded, no outs, and they were only to get 1 run.
Their top 3 arms all unavailable due to the pitch counts they've racked up earlier in the tournament. Bromberg pitched Wednesday, Good and McCaffrey yesterday. And South Korea has arms unavailable too. They're just deeper on the mound. And Min-Suk Bong started yesterday, started today as a pitcher. Didn't last all that long in either outing. Runner was at second base before Melamut even came to the plate. So that takes away the force and brings the infield in once again. Wants to pick at third and throws it into left field. On wants to come all the way home on the throwing air, and he's going to score. 2 runs come in, uncharacteristic from Keystone, Florida, and it's 8-2. On instantly realized what was going to happen and that he could score on the play.
Well, this will happen, especially at this age group where you can kind of feel it all coming apart. And as a player, you want to try to do something above and beyond what is probably called for at that time. And Shearer tried to pick off the runner at third, overthrew McCaffrey, 2 more runs on the board for Seoul.
That's hit through the right side, and Min-Suk Bong is aboard.
This is where, as a coach, you're going to have another pitching change.
So back to Nathan Trodden, who was the second pitcher of the day.
Your attention, please. Now returning to the mound for the U.S. number 10, Nathan Trodden.
You can return 1 time in a pitching role.
You know, Johnson, while we have a chance, you know, we've talked about this off the air, and of course we don't run these tournaments, and they are run tremendous, and there's so many people involved to put these tournaments together. But you sure would, in a perfect world, wish that your best pitchers could be available for the biggest game of the year.
Yeah, it's a difficult puzzle to figure out, because however you schedule it, that affects how people utilize their staffs. We saw Hawaii come in here with only 2 days rest from the West Regional. They didn't have their arms until the middle of the week. And so if Hawaii had gotten here, they wouldn't have had most of their arms. I think the only team that was really set up to play Saturday, Sunday on the U.S. side was New Jersey, if they had gotten through the Toms River East team, if they'd gotten through Hawaii in the elimination game. And it requires a deep pitching staff. Honestly, it requires a deep pitching staff to get here, because some of the regional tournaments are even more compressed than this.
Right.
Min-Jun Lee, the batter. Korea has broken it open here. He drops down a bunt. Trodden fires to first in time for the second out.
It's a great play by Trodden right here. Now, obviously, we know that he can play across the infield, but this is bouncing off the mound. Watch him barehand this ball, and that's what allows him to throw the hitter out. It's just a barehand, quick release. Great job.
You can hear a "Let's Go Keystone" chant as Min-Suk Bong works on his laces at second with the batting gloves on. Still working on the sliding pad. And Junhwa Kim, the hitter, will wait till Bong is ready. Everybody can get the signs, and we continue. 4 in the third and 4 in the fourth here for West Seoul. Popped out of play. In the bottom of the fourth, Florida will have the heart of the order up. Good, Shearer, and Melleman.
Well, we know one thing about Florida. They will not quit. They have had no dramatic comebacks.
They were down 4-1 in the bottom of the ninth against Bollinger Canyon on this field a week ago. Bollinger Canyon, the host district champion, won that game in that ninth inning, 5-4. Close play at second as they caught Bong leaning. Maybe even more than leaning. And a balk called again.
We'll get a look at it. Well, once you come to that set,
it's a mystery, but what's not a mystery is the power on display from South Korea. Ji Ho-shin torched this to left center, leaving the yard 8-2. West Seoul, South Korea, halfway through this one.
3 feet outside.
Leading off for the U.S. at the bottom of the fourth inning.
Bottom of the fourth in the Intermediate Baseball World Series Championship game. West Seoul, South Korea has got the bats going the last 2 innings. We'll see if Keystone, Florida has any response. Heart of the order up here, 3, 4, and 5. Beginning with Chance Good against the Korean righty Bo Min Jung. Good triple to the right center field gap to open the scoring in the bottom of the first. What a cool moment for him. Got under that one. The left fielder on, the center fielder Kim converge, and the taller on, taller and older, makes the catch. You got to respect your elders, right? Usually the center fielder has priority there.
Now batting, number 21, Cole Shearer.
Kim is the only 12-year-old on the West Seoul roster. That's what I say when I say respect your elders. Mostly 13-year-olds. There are 10 players in this tournament who are Little League 12. Cole Shearer digs in.
보민아, 집중력 쓰러지면 안 돼. 자세 끝까지 잡아. 집중, 집중. 수비 끝까지 집중해라.
And again, if you're scoring at home, A, we salute you, and B, we want to let you know that Min-Hoo Kim is back behind the plate after Shin took a couple of innings. They've split duties this tournament. It seems like they're going to split duties today as well.
What's interesting about this game is that one of these teams' fan base, it's already Monday, and that would be in Seoul, Korea, and the other is Sunday night in Tampa.
How would you like to start your week with your kid or your family member or the guy you played against winning the world title?
As they say, that's why you play, right?
Yeah, sign me up.
I'm wondering if any of the KBO players or any of those teams, there's 3 KBO teams that are based in Seoul, Korea. LG Twins, Doosan Bears, and the G21 Heroes. They're all based in Seoul. I wonder if any of those players are up watching this right now, because undoubtedly some of these players on Seoul Korea's team are fans of all 3 players on those teams.
Oh yeah. That pitch sailed on Jung, and it's a 1-out walk for Cole Shearer.
Now batting, number 9, Lee Mullins.
야, 야구는 한순간이야. 더블 가자, 더블. 야, 쇼 너무 왔어.
Shearer says, I am not taking a lead. I am not getting picked off over here down 6 runs.
Well, you remember yesterday, remember when Florida was trailing Hawaii and McCaffrey got over at first base? Remember, we were just talking about you cannot ill afford to get picked, and he did get picked temporarily until the review. Fortunate for him, it got overturned.
Malamut, Keystone's most consistent hitter here in Livermore. 6 for 10 in the tournament. Huge Alabama football fan. Wants to meet Nick Saban. Back to the mound here. They go softly to second and won't get any further outs. 2 down here in the 4th.
Now batting, number 19, Presley Bromberg.
보민아, 투아웃 마지막 타자라고 생각하면 전력해.
After all the tight and dramatic games we've had, and it's been
주자는 리드가 없어.
a majority, feels strange to have a 6-run gap here in the title game. It's taken a little bit of the life out of this crowd.
주자는 리드 없다.
I'm assuming the pin trading is still continuing unabated as this goes on. 2-0 the count on Presley Bromberg. Keystone Little League, Tampa, Florida, the U.S. champions. The other regional champions that reached here, Bollinger Canyon won District 57 in California, Toms River East, New Jersey, Pearl City, Hawaii, Taylor North, Michigan, and Ascension Parish in Louisiana. Among the many state, district champions, and those were the ones that triumphed at the regional level.
Well, for me, there's no loser of any of these teams that reached here to start the tournament. Any of the Final Four teams, be it the losers via Mexico or Hawaii, to get to this part and this pinnacle of this tournament is quite the achievement.
Oh, what a summer. Are you ever going to forget this? Not a chance. Swing and a miss. And the runner stranded. 8-2. South Korea leads it through 4 in the world title game. Coaching never stops, even if it's the last game of the summer. The pinnacle of intermediate league baseball in Little League. West Seoul, South Korea, out to an 8-2 lead on the Keystone Little League from Tampa, Florida. And Bo-Min Jung, the pitcher, leads off the Korean fifth against Nathan Trodden.
Well, this offense for Seoul, South Korea has exploded today. They've been relying a lot on pitching and defense recently when they've won games. Today, it's been all about those bats.
Bo-Min Jung, piano player from Suwon City. Waves at a breaking ball, and it's 1-2.
Don't you wish you could play piano? Maybe you can, but that's something. Playing a piano, that's a talent.
And it's a life skill. I can play 2 songs, and that's about it. I do wish I had more.
You can play 2 songs?
Yes, I can play.
Yankee Doodle is maybe.
I can play Doe a Deer from The Sound of Music, and Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. Everything else is like in another language.
The Korean flag. Nice breeze going. It was a little hot up here in Northern California today.
Everything going in their direction right now, but Nathan Trodden does fan Bo-Min Jung here in the 5th.
Now batting number 26, Cho Yoon-ho.
I thought they just had a fan set up. Those flags were blowing so perfectly. Cho, the pitcher who beat Guaynabo, Puerto Rico on Thursday in an elimination game. Guaynabo, one of 2 international teams that made Williamsport last year and Livermore this year. And you see the flags of the international teams displayed.
But those are limp, and the other flags are blowing.
I think
they must have fans. Maybe they do.
They definitely have people rooting for them. They have those kinds of fans. Trodden pitched the second and allowed the first 2 runners to reach in the third. Then he was lifted, came back into the game in the fourth. How about the bat flip for the line out to shortstop? Troutman, great play, ranging to his left, 2 down.
Well, this bat flip, you mentioned, it's kind of a characteristic. We'll get a look at it right here. Boom, and then the quick bat flip, and Troutman says, "I will take that."
I was just telling my son this morning, if you throw your bat, you get called out. But this does not qualify.
Very good.
Yi-Jun Kim, the center fielder with that electric triple in the third, driven down the right field line. Quickly an 0-2 hole here. Time called while they clear the baseball. To straightaway center. Chance good, has it lined up. 1-2-3 fifth for Nathan Trodden. Gavin McCaffrey due up at the plate for Keystone in the fifth. 8-2 Korea. The umpiring crew working the tournament, doing the YMCA, and some of the volunteers here. Everybody working a Little League event. Pretty much working on a volunteer basis, running World Series tournaments all over the United States this week, this month. And yes, you can.
Look at this. Oh, this is beautiful, huh?
Gee woo you. You do you, buddy.
Well, all we need now is just the fans to come on the field, and then we got it all.
And a good time was had by all. There's no question about that. West Seoul, South Korea, leading at 8-2 in the fifth. You are not wrong. It's rare that I say that.
Just having some fun. That's what it's all about for these kids, and that's the way it should be.
West Seoul of South Korea, the international champions, 5th time in 7 tournaments that the Korean representative has won the international title. 3-1 in championship game. Let's try that again. 2-2 in championship games. Winners in 2015 and 2018. Lost the title game in 2016 to Hawaii, and last year to the hosts from Danville, California. Gavin McCaffrey leads off the Keystone 5th. Swings through a fastball from Bo Min Jung.
Florida down to their last 9 outs of the game. They need base runners.
Ha, the second baseman, throws out McCaffrey.
Next up for the U.S. is number 10, Nathan Trotten. Folks are on a special sale in the Snack Shack right now. $1 hot dogs, sodas, and candy. That's $1 hot dogs, sodas, and candy at the Snack Shack. Thank you.
끝까지 집중해.
There's Chi-Woo-Yu.
서드 D.
Lost some of the life when the music ended. I have a feeling he's one of the guys picking tunes for batting practice if that's part of the routine. Nathan Trotten, the hitter. Now the Keystone pitcher. Played right field, third base, first base. It's pitched just in this tournament. And I think when you figure the rest of All-Star play, and I think he's played all night. I don't know if he's caught yet, actually. He also plays the French horn, which we were talking about the piano. My understanding is that the French horn is one of the most difficult instruments to learn.
Wow. So he plays the French horn in Korea.
Next up for the U.S. is number 8, Colin Greenwald.
Would not go that far.
주자 신경 쓰지 마. 주자 신경 쓰지 말고.
Strike to Colin Greenwald. He builds computers in his spare time, so we're going to be working for him. We're going to be working for him someday.
That's all.
And yes, he moved from Massachusetts. He is a Sox fan.
He didn't like that call.
Keystone trailed 4-1 in its first game of the tournament in the bottom of the ninth. They won the ball game. Trailed 2-0 with one out in the bottom of the seventh in their second ball game. Won 3-2. Trailed 4-1 midway through yesterday against Pearl City, Hawaii. Won that game 5-4. But this is a bigger deficit and a tougher opponent. I'm thinking these kids are just posted up watching old videos if he's got Chris Farley as his main man.
Did you say Chris Farley?
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, Trevor Hicks said it.
Really?
His favorite book is the Guinness Book of World Records.
Oh boy. It's above me, I can tell you that. It's just an awesome experience for both of these rosters to be at this level and play in this game.
It's literally in the other batter's box and everybody's oohing and ahhing, hoping it's a strike. The Mexican coaches were telling us they've never heard anything like the up and down cheering that comes from the Korean dugout when they're hitting, not so much when they're pitching. And their reaction to everything is worth listening to. Yeah, that's a walk issued by Jung.
It is amazing the atmosphere at the KBO in South Korea, which is their major leagues. For those of you that just joined us or are not familiar with what the KBO is, Korean Baseball Organization, but it's their version of MLB. And throughout a 9-inning game, there are groups upwards to sometimes 10,000 that are consistently standing up, cheering, and singing, no matter the score.
Jordan Martirana, the last Keystone player to get a hit back in the 3rd.
And he will never, ever forget it.
No. The best part of Little League, he says, building relationships with new friends and teammates. And for somebody who moved to Tampa from Fort Collins, Colorado, you imagine that's a big part of making friends in a new town, is joining a team.
How good is that?
심판이 좀 더 해야 되겠다.
2 on, 2 out. Martirana puts it in the air to right center. Yi-Jun Kim had him played that way and hauls it in. 2 more stranded. We're through 5 innings. And West Seoul, South Korea, 6 outs away from the tournament title. At the time. Korea 8, Florida 2 as we head to the 6th. And a reminder, the Little League Community Heroes Recognition Program helps to honor those dedicated individuals who not only volunteer their time at local Little League programs, but also contribute in other ways to improve their communities. To learn more or to nominate a community hero, go to littleleague.org/communityheroes. Keystone Little League from Tampa, Florida, the Southeast Region champions, the United States champions, taking on the Korean and Asia Pacific champs, West Seoul, South Korea, and Ji-hoon Park drives that into the corner, up against the fence. Greenmore gets it in a hurry, and it's a leadoff double for the leadoff hitter in the West Seoul order.
It's not a bad pitch. It's down in the zone. Watch him go down and get this ball. Down and in, and he's off to the races. Leadoff double for West Seoul, Korea.
2 for 3 now for Park Ji-hoon, or Ji-hoon Park. And again, he's been their best pitcher, was averaging more than 2 strikeouts an inning before yesterday. Didn't have his strikeout game on, but still held Mexico scoreless for his stint on the mound. Team from Navajoa, one of the stories of the tournament, for sure. That's down and in, gets away, and Park over to third with no outs.
Well, let's see where Florida ends up playing their infield. So far, it looked like Frazier at second base was back. Kind of interesting that they're playing back right now. They can ill afford to give up any more runs with no outs here.
Yeah, but you can't give up a big inning either. That, you know, it ends the game if they get to 12-2 and Florida can't score in the bottom of the inning. Sung Hyun Ha, second baseman, began the tournament hitting leadoff, now in the 2-hole.
How about Harry Potter's favorite book?
Yeah, he speaks a little English. I'm assuming he read it in Korean, though. But to the right side. Frazier will get the out, run scores, and it's 9-2 West Seoul.
Now that is a catcher, number 16, Shin.
And here's Ji-Ho Shin, whose home run in the fourth broke this thing open.
Well, he doesn't miss this thing. This is a blast. It's a hanging breaking ball in the left center. And that's what ignited this entire club and their bats in that inning.
First pitch was over his head. Big cut there and came up empty.
Good pitch by Trodden.
Called strike 3 at the knees. Second out of the inning. And the fourth strikeout for Trodden.
Get a look at this pitch at the bottom of the zone. Trodden says thank you very much.
Do-Yun Yi fouls that one down past the Florida dugout. This tournament initiated 10 years ago. This is the 9th edition thanks to the pandemic. 4 times the international champion has won the title game. 4 times the U.S. champion has won it. But it will not surprise you to learn that the last international team to win it was West Seoul, South Korea in 2018. Called strike 3 on the inner half. Yi was backing out of the way, but that is a backup breaking ball. And Trodden fans, a couple. Keystone, Florida coming back to the plate in the 6th.
Don't worry.
Bottom of the 6th inning of the World Championship game. And Keystone, Florida trailing West Seoul, South Korea 9-2. We'll go 12-1-2 in the continuous batting order here in the 6th, starting with Trey Nolan.
It's an appropriate song, right? Don't worry, be happy. That's what everybody should be on this day with both of these dugouts. I get it. One of these clubs is going to lose, but what they have accomplished. And keep in mind, I think we're all guilty of it at some point in time. We take everything too serious for kids, right, when they're playing sports. Now, I mean, there's a lot of experience that these kids will get from this game and from all the previous games. They'll learn from things. They'll grow.
And from the off-field stuff, too.
Absolutely. Interaction with kids from across the world.
Trey Nolan, they call him the mayor of the Keystone Little League. His younger brother Chase did the Little League pledge on the field before the game. We told you interactions and experiences off the field. These teams have interacted before this and have competed against each other before this in a different venue.
Table tennis. How about that? Beautiful. Well, you know what's interesting about this? We'll take another look at this picture, but I mean, you tell me they're not all having fun.
We didn't get a final score, though, or a matchup, and it probably doesn't matter.
No.
Grounder to third for the first out here in the sixth.
Well, you know what's interesting about both of these clubs? You might see some of these kids here, obviously they're 13 years old, some are 12, but when they get to high school and end up seniors in high school, you might see some of these same players be stars in another sport. They might be a great basketball player, a great football player. You never know. I know when I went to high school, Jonathan, you might be surprised, but I didn't play an inning of baseball in my life in high school. I played basketball and golf. Went to college to play basketball.
That does surprise me. I did not know that.
And I always think and I always believe the sport will find the athlete, not vice versa.
That's driven to the gap. Josh Troutman aboard for Keystone. He'll hold it first.
Now batting second baseman, number 1.
A real good job by Troutman. We told you that this Florida team will not quit. They will grind and grind and grind. This pitch is a good pitch from Jung, but a better job by Troutman.
Wes, is there a timeline on when that sport finds the athlete? Because I'm still waiting. Jackie Frazier to straightaway center, and it's going to drop. 2 on for Keystone here in the sixth.
Well, I think it just spontaneously finds it. Again, but the only way that can happen is if you're allowed. We'll get a look at his base hit, elevated pitch. But if you're allowed to play multiple sports, then you're going to have an opportunity to figure out which one, number one, that you're the best at, and number two, that you love the most. And I will always contend, even when I manage in pro ball, I ask my players, do you love what you're doing? Do you love playing? A lot of times they would look at me and say, what do you mean? Are you kidding me? I'm here. And that's not wasn't my question. Do you love it? Because I always believe if you don't love what you're doing, you need to go find something that you do love and go play that.
Well, these kids love it and have loved this summer. Playing ball with their friends and traveling anywhere and everywhere to play. Chased one, but the ball gets away. Good racing to first. Boy, can he fly. And the bases are loaded. Oh, you're right. Runner at first. And there were less than 2 outs. I got ahead of myself there. So it was fun to watch Chance Good run, but he is out. The runners each move up.
Right. But my point to that whole conversation is I think it's a good idea if you have an athlete as a parent to expose them to all the sports.
Sharply hit by Shearer and through the left side. They will hold Frazier at third, but another run crosses for Keystone. It's 9-3.
Well, Shear's had a great tournament, and we know his leadership behind the plate, how valuable it's been to Keystone team's success. But this is a great job of hitting. The ball's actually in, and he inside outs this thing into the 5-6 hole the other way.
So with 2 outs, you can run for your pitcher and your catcher with the player who made the last out. So that works out well for Florida here because they get to put Chance Good aboard. Woo-Sung Kim, the Korean manager, has not made a decision yet, or at least he hasn't told us yet, and he will keep Jung in the game. He's up at 86 pitches. He can go up to 95 as you see the rules for the courtesy runners. No more special pinch runners since everybody's in the continuous batting order all the time. Runners at the corners, 2 down. Lee Malamut, the batter. That hole between third and short is calling his name. Although I don't know if they'll pitch him inside where he can pull it there.
Bohemian
Hard
Rhapsody.
to beat. Hard to beat Bohemian Rhapsody.
Right?
Like you can say, oh, I have a different favorite, but you can't really argue that's not an amazing piece of work.
Somebody. Do you want to take it from there?
Somebody to love. Three and one on Malamut. 2 on, 2 out here in the 6th. Keystone, Florida took a 2-0 lead. West Seoul, South Korea scored the next 9 runs. Keystone has plated 1 here in the 6th. Runner goes. This is drilled to the opposite field. Playable for Park. What a catch! Ji-Hoon Park continues to shine in this tournament. He denies Lee Malamut and Keystone, Florida, another run.
Well, Park has shown us all of his skills and nothing bigger in this game other than this catch right here to stop this.
Your attention, please. We have a winner in our 50-50
Final inning of regulation in the Little League Intermediate World Series title game. West Seoul, South Korea leads Keystone, Florida 9-3. 4 runs in back-to-back innings in the middle of the game to take control, including the Shin home run. Florida had an early lead, Chance Good with that RBI triple to put him in front. Missed a couple of opportunities to stretch that lead though. Had a golden chance to get to 9-5 there in the 6th. And the sliding catch by Park keeps it a 6-run deficit here in the 7th.
By the way, the winning ticket tonight's going to be worth
Changes defensively for Florida. Preston Bromberg goes behind the plate. Jackie Frazier goes back to the mound. Nathan Trott into third. Gavin McCaffrey over to second.
Top of the 7th inning, number 14, Kim Min-woo.
Min-Hoo Kim leads off the Korean 7th. Most likely the final inning of an amazing summer of baseball for these two teams. Right at the shortstop, Troutman, and kicks into left center. Big turn at first by Kim, but he'll hold there.
Was that a nasty hop right in front of Troutman? I mean, this ball's hit on the line, and Troutman does what he's supposed to do. Although I might take that back. You watch him right here, we get a better look instead of just staying where he's at, keeping that ball in front of him. At minimum, he tries to play it off to the side.
Does go as a single in the official numbers. Here's Ji-Woo Yu. Most likely to be a viral sensation as that pitch got away from Bromberg.
How about that pitch from Jackie Frazier right there? That's what they would call an ephus pitch, which is a pitch that if you could throw a ball as slow as you could, that's what it would be.
Oh, that had some bite on it.
He did it again.
It's not quite la lob.
Did you say la lob?
Yeah.
What are the odds that he throws it again?
87%. To right field. Shearer going back. He and Bromberg traded places and makes the catch for the first out. Over to third on the play is Kim.
Left fielder, number 24, Sam Young.
Well, you made an adjustment there, Jonathan. The same pitch came, which is 100% rather than 87.
Pitch misses away to Sang-myung An. Straight through the box, base hit. And South Korea hits double digits here in the 7th. An having himself a nice tournament. It's 10-3.
Well, this offense for West South Korea has just been so impressive today. Up and down the lineup.
Say, An looks like he wants to go first pitch.
Well, they pretty much have the entire game, right?
Yep.
With the exception of you, although you kind of did it a different way.
Did not go this time, obviously, and Bong takes a strike. And a straight steal of home with Do Yeon Yi against Australia back on Monday. Backed off the running game a little bit, and Bromberg won't have a play here. Second stolen base of the day for An. Bromberg fires to second. Back in under the tag is On. You got to look at the arm of Presley Bromberg,
Well,
who would have dearly loved to pitch today.
Watch, the ball beats him back to the bag. So it beats him back to the bag, but boy, that's closer than we thought, isn't it? Brian Diamond, second base umpire.
Full count to Bong. With On still a runner at second, one down here. Swing and a miss with the breaking ball.
Frazier's bread and butter is this slow breaking pitch that he throws.
The smallest player in the tournament, 4'10", 80 pounds. And he's got something that's worked here. Gets the runner off, trying to throw him out. Back in under the tag. Frazier kind of stole everybody's hearts in the first game last Sunday against Bollinger Canyon. Still making plays here in game 21. In the bottom of the 7th, Florida will go 6, 7, and 8 in the order. Troutman still having a good time. Big smile on his face at short. Laughing with McCaffrey as they try and catch the runner. That's hit to the left side and through for a hit. On will be sent home. And he'll score easily. The throw comes into second. A little lackadaisical there, and it allowed Lee to take the extra base. 11-3 South Korea.
South Korea, first baseman, number 15, G21.
Junhwa Kim stands in. That one bounces away, and Lee moves over to third. Troutman cuts across and makes the play to end the inning. A couple more runs for West Seoul, South Korea. Keystone Little League from Tampa, Florida, coming to the plate one more time. Bottom of the 7th is next.
Visiting team has lost a cell phone. 473-371. You got that winning ticket? Meet me behind the score booth at the end of the game to collect your
Bottom of the 7th, last inning of the summer for the kids from the Keystone Little League in Tampa, Florida, and the kids from Gyeonggi Province on the west side of Seoul, Korea. 11-3, the South Korean lead. New pitcher is Ji-ho Shin. Is there anything he can't do? As a homer in this game, we know he can do great things on the base paths and behind the plate as a catcher. And he will try and close it out as a pitcher here in the 7th. Presley Bromberg leads it off for Keystone. This group, state champions as 11-year-olds, as 12-year-olds, and as 13-year-olds. Brought back 7 players from last year, and Presley Bromberg, one of 5 newcomers to the All-Star squad this summer, and one of the most impactful as well.
My goodness, I mean, Shin, needless to say, can rush it up there. But as we talk about this Keystone Little League club, I mean, all these kids in the dugout, they know they're 3 outs away unless they score 8 runs, and this run is over, but so much to be proud of.
Kim just held the sign higher, hoping that Shin could see it. He didn't care who else saw it. It's nice when your number 6 pitcher has a curveball like that, huh?
Well, I think his fastball is more impressive to me.
Yeah. They need the tape on the fingers. Bromberg hung in there to foul it off.
욕심 부리지 마. 힘 빼고. 포수한테 던져, 포수.
It's a real good at bat.
There's no quit in terms of the compete level, even in an 8-run game. And Bromberg is aboard to lead off the 7th.
What a great at-bat by Bromberg. Got behind in the count and battled all the way back to get a leadoff walk.
Next up for the U.S., number 6, Gavin McCaffrey.
Gavin McCaffrey stands in for Florida, son of the manager Dan. And again, the pitching hero of yesterday's win over Pearl City, Hawaii. Cubs fan like his dad, wants to meet Ryan Sandberg.
Former Cub Chris Bryant, his favorite player.
지호야 확실하게 낮게 가야 돼. 더블 가자 더블. 주자는 신경 쓰지 말고 아웃 카운트 주자 신경 쓰지 말고. 천천히 해, 천천히. 야, 힘 모아서 천천히 던져. 내가 간다.
They do hold Bromberg on as McCaffrey swings through that one.
힘 모아서 던져. 주자 신경 쓰지 말고.
Some thank yous to pass along in what's likely the final inning of the tournament. Bill Aboumarad, the tournament director, and all the great volunteers in Livermore. Kevin Shank, Sean Scally on our staff. Drew Felios calling the early games all week on ESPN+. My partner, Wes Clements. So glad you've joined us for the tournament here on ESPN+. Fantastic games. The coaching staffs from each team were really gracious with their time and giving us background on all the teams. And we're left with these two, West Seoul, South Korea, and Keystone Little League from the northwest side of Tampa, Florida. Waited on the breaking ball in the hole, nobody covering first, and McCaffrey has a hit.
Well, that's why you need 21 outs to win a game. You got to get them all. And we've talked about this. Watch this. McCaffrey hits the ball right off the end of the bat the other way. And it basically ends up in no man's land to where Kim dives for it. And Haas got it. And Shin's a little bit late to cover first. And Florida first and second and no outs. But Jonathan, you talked about all the people that are involved to make these tournaments successful, and you can talk about our hotels and how the hospitality from them and the setups they have for the kids to be able to be entertained at night.
Yeah, they have game rooms set up for them.
All the parents, what they put in, just tremendous.
Ball and a strike to Nathan Trottin here in the bottom of the 7th. Back up the middle, Shin goes to second. They'll relay, not in time at first. Runners at the corners.
Now batting for the U.S., number 8, Colin Greenmore.
How about that? For this title game, you're no longer Florida, you're no longer the Southeast. Now batting for the U.S. Pretty cool.
It is.
Line to the right side and through for a hit. Colin Gremore brings in a run. It's 11-4 here in the 7th. Another great moment for a keystone hitter.
Next up for the U.S., number 2, Trevor
Well,
Hicks.
again, we've said it over and over about the no quit in this Florida club. And of course, we're biased. We're not rooting for either one of these teams, but we are rooting for success for both of these teams and their players. And you love to see this.
침착해, 천천히. 힘 모아서.
Trevor Hicks stands in.
지호야, 천천히 힘 모아서 던져.
Dealing with an arm injury, hasn't been able to play the field almost the entire All-Star campaign. But such an important member of this team, and like everybody, part of the batting order. They want to appeal the swing. He did not go, says Wayne Bonington.
지호야, 한발 뒤로 가라. 들어가서 한발 뒤로.
Their only loss, July 16th, Barrier Island, South Carolina, in a tight 5-4 ball game. They came back to beat Richmond, Virginia in the elimination bracket, and then beat the Barrier Islands 16-0 behind a Bromberg perfect game to win the Southeast Regional title. West Seoul's only loss right here Wednesday in 12 innings against Navajo, Mexico.
여유 있게 천천히 해. 급할 게 없어.
And West Seoul got it back yesterday in 9 innings. Pretty
Well, I
tough
tell you
to
what,
top
Hicks,
those 2 ball games.
It was. I mean, they were great games, but how about Hicks right now? You know this is not a comfortable at-bat for him against Shin, who is just throwing pellets on the mound. But he is just fighting and battling.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner, and there are 2 down.
Now batting number 3, Jordan Monterrey.
Jordan Martirana, the hitter, 1 for 2 today. Takes a great cut and fouls it off.
낮게 가자. 뒤잡아라. 침착하게 해라. 포수한테.
No balls, 2 strikes in the world title game.
Think about all the practices, all the time that these kids have spent to win this game.
Put it in the books. West Seoul, world champions again.
U.S. score. Congratulations, West Seoul Little League. You are the 2023 Little League World Series champions. 14 for a very well-played game.
2015, 2018, 2023. West Seoul, South Korea brings home the prize.
Well, they have played tremendous this entire tournament, but they pretty much showed us every part of baseball today, and they did it all well, whether it be pitching, hitting, or defense. This was one of their best performances of the entire tournament, and they saved it for the biggest game of the entire year. Congratulations. And then you see the other side, and we've talked about the other side. What these kids from Keystone, Florida accomplished, it's hard for them probably to understand now. They're sad. They're watching another team celebrate. But boy, they have a lot to be proud of, including, Jonathan, this last inning. Their final 3 outs of the year, they scored runs and they showed that fight and grit they've showed the entire tournament.
Heads up. What a team. What a couple of teams we got to witness tonight, battling all summer.
You see how much it means to these kids. You see the tears in their eyes, and again, there's really nothing you can tell them other than keep your heads up right now. It hurts. It's a part of growing up in sports.
Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your stay in Livermore.
Korean players preparing flags. It's a scene in Livermore they'll never forget.
Let's not forget that the Keystone, Florida team won the United States Championship, so they are champions as well.
The teams prepare to shake hands after a fantastic tournament in Livermore. Thank you so much for joining us throughout. The final score in the championship game, West Seoul, South Korea 11, Keystone Little League from Tampa, Florida 4. For everyone involved in our broadcast, for Kevin and Sean and our entire crew in Livermore, for my partner Wes Clements, for Drew Felios calling games early in the tournament, I'm Jonathan Yardley. Thanks for watching all week in Livermore. Enjoy all the Little League World Series going on across the ESPN family of networks. Games streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Good night from California. West Seoul, the world champions for a third time.